Error admittance for lesson 93. Friends, one of our subscribers have brought to our notice that an error has occurred in lesson 93 in the spelling of Ishoni. The hiragana version of the phrase to Ishoni was misspelled on the title slide as Ishini due to typographical error, and the error propagated in the title of all the subsequent slides due to copy paste function. So this inadvertent mistake is highly regretted and we are really sorry for that. And thanks to the person, our subscriber who brought this error to our notice. Konnichiwa minasan. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japani YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about Japan, Japanese culture and Japanese language. This series is a series of Japanese lessons for beginners, and today we are at lesson 95. Today's discussion topic is the particle kara when used as a conjunction that gives the meaning of because. Recap of what we know about the particle kara. So kara is a very common particle which we all know, and it indicates from when it is used as preposition. So preposition in English, but in Japanese it's actually a postposition because it appears after the word. So for example, from place 1 to place 2, so we will say place 1 kara, place 2 made. So kara appears after place 1, so that's why it's postposition and not preposition, unlike English where from comes before place 1. And another application is from time 1 to time 2. So we learned both of these scenarios when we discussed the kara and made particle in one of our previous lessons. Examples: doko kara doko made, that means from where to where, and the answer might be densha wa Tokyo kara Osaka made ikimasu. So that means the train is going from Tokyo to Osaka. Tokyo kara Osaka made. So this is from place 1 to place 2. In the same way, for time, we can use kara and made. So nanji kara nanji made or itsu kara itsu made. So itsu is when. So from when to when. And if we say nanji, then from what time to what time. So both are valid. So doko kara doko made, dochira kara dochira made, itsu kara itsu made, and nanji kara nanji made. All these four question types we discussed when we discussed about kara and made when used as postpositions. Kaigi wa gogo niji kara sanji made desu. So this should be this. So I'm not able to modify it, but yeah, that's fine. So kaigi wa gogo niji kara sanji made desu, not ikimasu. So next, today's topic is kara when used as conjunction. So there is no made here, it's an independent kara and it will be used as a conjunction. So conjunction in the sense to connect two phrases or two parts of the sentences or two sentences. So in Japanese, the conjunctional kara is used to connect two sentences. It is used to connect the reason with the consequence or action. So what does it mean? Let's see. In English, this is done using the conjunction because. For example, I won't purchase. This is a statement. It is expensive. So this is another sentence. Both of these sentences are independent on their own, but if we join them, I won't purchase because it is expensive. So now I won't purchase becomes the consequence and the reason is it is expensive. So it is expensive is the reason. So the consequence is connected to the reason using because, and because is thus a conjunction because it joins two parts or it joins two independent sentences and makes it a one sentence. So in the same way, in Japanese, the kara particle is used to give the same meaning, or we can say similar meaning. And it can be used to represent because of, due to, therefore, hence, so, and so on. So let's see how that gets applied in Japanese grammar. Noun dakara verb. This is one form. So this means the action represented by the verb V is done because of N. So N, or the noun here, is the reason for the consequence which is expressed by the verb. And that's these two, the reason and the consequence, are connected using the kara. Kara is the particle and the is the informal version of this. So it is the same the, des, deshta. So it's the same, which represents is. So, and the other form is the i-Adjective, which we discussed in the last lesson. So if there is an i-Adjective, then there will not be any the applicable. So there will be directly the adjective followed by kara and followed by the verb. So here again, V is done because of A, or V happens because of A. And in the previous one, V is done because of N, or V occurs because of N. In these two sense statements, N and A are the reasons for the consequences or actions defined by V in each case. Or in other words, we can say the text that appears before kara is the reason behind the current action or the consequence described by the text after kara. So to put it simply, kara is used to connect the reason with the consequence in the same way as we use because in English. Now let's look at some examples. The first example is Byoki dakara ikimasen. So you can see here we have dakara. So that implies Byoki is a noun because this follows the structure noun dakara verb. So ikimasen we know means I won't go. Dakara is the particle that represents because. So I won't go because of Byoki. So what is Byoki? Byoki is sickness. So I can't go because of sickness. I can't go due to sickness, or I can't go because I am sick. So this is the meaning that comes out of this statement. So it can be expressed using any of these in English. I can't go due to sickness. I can't go as I am sick. I am sick, so I can't go. I am sick, hence I can't go. And I am sick, therefore I can't go. So, beoki dakara ikimasen. So, this is a very simple example of how to connect the reason, sickness, with the consequence that I am incapable of going out. Another example, takai kara kaimasen. Now we don't see the da part here. So that means takai must be an adjective. And in the last lesson on adjectives, we learned that takai means high. So although we described it as high in the length in height, but it is also used to express the high price. So that means here takai represents expensive. So takai kara kaimasen. That means it's expensive. That's why I won't buy. Kaimas is to purchase or to buy. Kaimasen is the negative, which is I won't buy. I won't buy because it's expensive. Takai kara kaimasen. So be careful while using the adjective takai. It can be used to express the height of a person, height of a building, or the height of mountain. And also it can be expressed, it can be used to represent a high price. So it basically represents the highness. Takai kara kaimasen. So beoki da kara ikimasen, takai kara kaimasen. These two examples, one using noun da kara verb and the other is in the format i-Adjective kara verb. Let's look at few more examples now. Kyo wa ame dakara gakkou wa yasumi desu. So if you try to understand it part by part, then it will be easy. So gakkou wa yasumi desu. What does it mean? Gakkou is school, yasumi is holiday. So it means the school is closed or there is a holiday in the school. And here kyo wa ame da. So da is nothing but the informal uh, form of des. So kyo wa ame des, if we say, then what does that mean? Today there is rain. So today it's raining or today there is rain. So kyo wa ame da. That means today there is rain, and gakkou wa yasumi desu, the school is closed. And in between these two sentences we have da kara or kara, which means the school is closed because of rain. It's raining today, so school is closed. So you can say it in either way. Kyou wa ame da kara gakkou wa yasumi desu. Another example is Kino wa atsui kara Tokyo e ikimasen deshita. Again, to understand it, you can split it into two parts and then use the conjunction kara to join them. Tokyo e ikimasen deshita. Tokyo e ikimasen deshita means I didn't go to Tokyo. Now, why I didn't go to Tokyo? The reason is here. Atsui kara, because it was too hot. So atsui is an adjective which we saw in the last lesson, which means hot. So it was hot, and kino is yesterday. So kino wa atsui kara Tokyo ikimasen deshita. It means I didn't go to Tokyo yesterday because it was too hot. Another example is isogashi kara hiru gohan o tabemasen deshita. So here isogashi is another adjective which also we discussed in the last lesson, which means busy. So busy due to my busy schedule. So isogashi kara hiru gohan o tabemasen deshita. Hiru gohan means lunch and tabemas is for eating, to eat. Tabemasen is not eat, and tabemasen deshita is did not eat. So I did not eat my lunch because I was busy. So this is a past tense form of the same thing. So in each of these cases you will find there are two sentences. There can be two independent sentences, and we can then join them using the conjunction kara in the same way as we connect two sentences in English using because or due to or so, therefore, and so on. So kyou wa ame dakara gakkou wa yasumi desu. Kino wa atsui kara Tokyo e ikimasen deshita. Isogashi kara hiru gohan o tabemasen deshita. So these are very useful and simple examples to understand this concept of conjunctional kara. Now we will look at a very different example using this conjunctional kara. But before that, let's recap what we know about the verb suru. So we know that suru is a very, very fundamental verb in Japanese, which is extremely useful in expressing other verbs. So suru basically means to do something. So it's a generic verb to represent to do. So the informal version is suru. The formal version is shimas. So you will see these verbs very, very frequently in Japanese conversations. Onegai shimas is an very good example. So suru shimas. Then in the past tense it becomes shita and shimashita. In the negative sense it becomes shinai shimasen, and in the negative past it becomes shinakatta shimasen deshita. So this we already know from our discussion in lesson 79. So now using suru, by adding a noun we can form noun verbs. For example, benkyo suru. So benkyo means study, that is a noun. And if we add suru to that, then the noun study becomes the verb study, that is to study. So benkyo suru is to study. So in this way it becomes benkyo shimasu, benkyo shita, benkyo shimasta. Benkyo shinai, benkyo shimasen, benkyo shimasen deshita. Likewise, denwa suru means to call over phone. Denwa is telephone and denwa suru means to telephone, that is to call someone over phone. So in this way, denwa shimasu, denwa shimashita, denwa shimasen, denwa shimasen deshita. Similarly, aisuru, which means to love. I means love. So this is how the verb suru is added to nouns to make them verbs. Now, this is not the thing that we want to discuss here today, but it was a recap of what we already know because we have to learn something else here now. So, benkyo suru or benkyo shimasu means I study or I will study. Since there is no separate present tense and future tense, and both can be represented using this one single form, suru or shimas. So it can be either I study or I will study. So the difference gets cleared only from the context of conversation. So from that it becomes clear whether it will be I study or I will study. Similarly, in the negative sense, benkyo shinai, benkyo shimasen. So that can mean I don't study. It can also mean I won't study. We don't know. So unless there is some context set, we can't say uh, surely what is the actual meaning of benkyo shinai or benkyo shimasen or similarly benkyo shimas. Now that is one thing, the present and future. Now if I have to express I am studying or I was studying, then how to do that? So this is what we are going to look at now. The answer lies in the te form of the verb. So this is a new form of the verb which we have not yet done in this syllabus, in this course yet. But as we want to give you an example of conjunctional kara applied sentence, so that's why we thought of introducing this concept in this lesson. So shimas becomes shite imas and shimasen becomes shite imasen. So this is the te form of the verb where we use te here. Likewise, in the past tense, shimashita becomes shite imashita and shimasen deshita becomes shite imasen deshita. So now what does that mean? The te form makes it crystal clear that an action is not in the future but an action one is working on at this moment. That is something which is going on. For example, here I am studying. So it will be benkyo shite imasu. And if I say I am not studying, then it will be benkyo shite imasen. Similarly, I was studying will be benkyo shite imashita. And I was not studying, benkyo shite imasen deshita. So this is the form of verb or the structure that will be used to represent the present continuous or past continuous. So present continuous is I am studying, past continuous is I was studying. So to represent the past or present continuous tense, te is used and along with that imas is used. So imas is used because here it is shimas. So now look at a good example of its application. So we see here, Rainen Nihon e iku kara Nihongo o benkyou shite imasu. So very excellent example of conjunctional kara. So let's break down this sentence into two parts to understand it in a easier way. So the first part is Nihongo o benkyou shite imasu. So we all know Nihongo means Japanese language. O is the particle to connect the object with the verb and verb is benkyo shite imasu. So it's the benkyo suru. The te form of benkyo suru is benkyo shite imasu. That means Nihongo Benkyou shite imasu will be I am studying Japanese. So as in the previous slide we saw Benkyou shite imasu means I am studying. So Nihongo Benkyou shite imasu means I am studying Japanese. So this part is now clear that it means it represents I am studying Japanese. Now what is the other part? Rainen Nihon e iku. So iku is the verb for to go, as we know. So it can be ikimas as well. You can write here ikimas as well, iku. So since the speaker is talking about himself, so the informal form is also okay. Rainen means next year. So we have done all these kanjis in our course in previous lesson. So you know about it. Rainen means next year. Nihon e iku. That means I am going to Japan next year. So I am studying Japanese. I am going to, or I will go Japan. I will go to Japan next year. And these two sentences needs to be joined using this conjunctional kara. This is the conjunction kara. So that means next year I will go to Japan. So I am studying Japanese. I am studying Japanese because I am going to Japan next year. So it's the same thing. If you just interchange the sections, then because becomes so. So it depends whether you write the reason before or after in English, but in Japanese, it's always the reason which is before kara, and the consequence is after kara. So here the reason for learning Japanese is that the person is going to Japan next year. So consequence is Nihongo o benkyou shite imasu, and the reason is Rainen Nihon ne iku. So going to Japan next year is the reason why the person is currently studying Japanese. And now since he is already studying Japanese, so it's benkyou shite imasu. Now what will happen if we write Nihongo o benkyou shimasu? So grammatically it won't be incorrect. If we say Rainen Nihon e iku kara Nihongo o benkyou shimasu, it's still correct, but it will not give, or it will not give the concrete meaning that I am currently studying Japanese. So it may mean I will study Japanese. It may mean I will study Japanese, and it can be anything. I am studying Japanese as well. But when we write Benkyou shite imasu, then it is confirmed that I am studying Japanese. So this is the reason why in this context, Benkyou shite imasu is much better than Benkyou shimasu. So Benkyou shimasu becomes too generic form. It cannot give any concrete meaning about the actual status of my studying Japanese. So another statement, shite imasu means to be doing such and such. It describes an action in progress. So it's the same thing that we just mentioned, that it is present or past continuous. So it represents that the action is in progress. So friends, that's all about today's lesson, where we discussed a very important concept called conjunctional kara. As we earlier studied it as a preposition to represent from, and as conjunction it is used to represent because. So I hope this lesson has been useful to you. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we shall be back soon with the next lesson, which is lesson 96. So if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do so. Saral Japani, and our address is youtube.com/@saraljapani. So till we meet again, mata imasho.